I almost kept driving. The woman standing beside the old blue pickup looked familiar, but I hadn't seen her in nearly 3 years. When I finally recognized Rachel, the woman who had been my ex-fiancée Olivia's closest friend, I felt my hands tighten around the steering wheel. She raised her hand, asking for a ride, and something in her tired expression made me stop. I had no idea that the next hour would uncover a truth that would rewrite everything I believed about the woman who had shattered my heart. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us continue sharing heartfelt stories that remind us there is still goodness in this world. I had spent the last 3 years rebuilding my life in a quiet corner of Vermont after Olivia ended our engagement with nothing more than a short letter claiming she had fallen out of love. At first, I blamed myself. I wondered if I had worked too much, talked too little, or simply wasn't enough. The questions haunted me for months. Eventually, I accepted the pain and focused on helping my father restore our family farm after my mother passed away. It wasn't the future I had imagined, but honest work has a way of healing wounds that words cannot. Rachel climbed into my truck, carrying only a weathered backpack. She looked older than I remembered, not because of age, but because life had clearly asked more of her than anyone deserved. During the first few miles, silence filled the cab. The road stretched through green hills, and I could hear only the tires rolling across the pavement and distant birds drifting over open fields. Then Rachel quietly admitted she hadn't asked for the ride by accident. She had been looking for me for months. She explained that after Olivia left, she had wanted to tell me something, but she had promised to keep a secret. That promise had become heavier every year until she could no longer carry it. My heart pounded harder with every mile. Rachel explained that 6 months before our wedding, Olivia had discovered that her father had quietly lost everything. Medical bills from her younger brother's illness had consumed the family's savings, and foreclosure threatened to take away the only home they had ever known. Around the same time, I had finally received an opportunity to expand our small construction business into several neighboring states. Olivia believed that if I married her, I would abandon that dream to rescue her family financially. She knew I would choose love over business, without hesitation. Instead of asking for help, she made a decision that Rachel had begged her not to make. She ended our engagement in the coldest way possible because she believed it would force me to chase the future I had worked so hard to build, instead of sacrificing everything for her family. She wanted me to hate her because she thought hatred would heal faster than guilt. I pulled the truck onto the shoulder and stared through the windshield, unable to speak. Every painful memory suddenly looked different. The unanswered phone calls, the unopened letters I had sent. The engagement ring returned without explanation. None of it had been because she stopped loving me. Rachel continued. Olivia had worked 2 jobs, sold nearly everything she owned, and cared for her family until her father recovered financially. She had never married. According to Rachel, she still carried the photograph of us taken the day we became engaged. I didn't know whether to feel relieved, angry, grateful, or heartbroken. For years, I had carried resentment towards someone who had quietly carried a burden alone, because she believed protecting me mattered more than protecting herself. The following afternoon, Rachel gave me an address in a small New Hampshire town before catching a bus to visit relatives. She simply smiled and said that what happened next was no longer her story to tell. I drove there with more questions than certainty. The little bookstore where Olivia worked sat on a peaceful street lined with maple trees. Through the window, I saw her helping an elderly customer find a novel. She smiled with the same kindness that had first captured my heart years earlier. Time had changed both of us, yet somehow it also reminded me of everything we had once hoped to become. When she finally looked up and saw me standing outside, surprise filled her face. Neither of us rushed forward. We simply stood there, letting years of misunderstanding fall away without needing dramatic words. We spent hours walking through the town park, sharing the parts of our lives that had remained hidden behind silence. She admitted she had convinced herself I deserved someone whose life wasn't filled with hardship. I admitted that losing her had taught me patience, compassion, and the importance of asking difficult questions before accepting painful answers. Neither of us pretended the lost years could be recovered. But healing isn't about recovering time. It's about choosing what to do with the time we still have. Months later, our families gathered not for a wedding that had been delayed, but for a community fundraiser supporting families facing medical hardships, ensuring others would never feel they had to suffer alone in silence. Watching neighbors help complete strangers reminded me that kindness often grows from the deepest pain. If this story has touched your heart, please support the video with a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more emotional stories that celebrate hope, forgiveness, and the incredible strength of the human spirit. Before this story ends, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us, do you believe keeping a painful secret to protect someone you love is ever the right choice, or is honesty always the better path? As the sun set behind the Vermont hills, I realized that life doesn't always give us perfect endings. Sometimes it gives us something even more meaningful, the chance to understand, to forgive, and to begin again with hearts made stronger by everything they have endured. And in that quiet beginning, I finally found the peace I had been searching for all along.